Slavery was abolished as a result of the resistance, the powerful resistance. And the enslaver realized that they had to come up with more sophisticated forms of enslaving African people.
That's right.
Are you with me, brothers and sisters? Okay? So let us understand that. Let us also understand that throughout slavery, there was a spiritual war, not just a physical war, but a spiritual war going on between our enslaved ancestors and their enslavers. So they were imposing Christianity as a superior religion on African people, and we were fighting to hold on. We were resisting the imposition of this what was to us an alien religion.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody with me so far? Yeah. You know, in the Caribbean, for instance, we had the tradition in Jamaica of Kumina. Yeah. We had in Trinidad and Tobago, Shango. We had in Suriname and parts of Guyana, so-called British Guyana. We had the Jugas tradition. All these are African traditions. In Cuba, we had Santeria. In Brazil, we had Candomblé. And it goes on and on and on. All over the Caribbean and the Americas, African people were fighting to hold on to our spiritual tradition, which was at the core of our culture.
Right.
And the oppressor was imposing Christianity as a superior religion upon our people, and we were resisting.
Right.
It became necessary for African people to pose as though we accepted Christianity, because we were punished severely for practicing African spiritual tradition. And let's be clear about that, brothers and sisters. So that after the abolition of slavery, brothers and sisters, many African people were still holding on. The black Christian tradition in the Caribbean, the spiritual Baptist, we had that Paul Bogle, for instance, was a Christian. That's just half the story. Paul Bogle was a spiritual Baptist. The spiritual Baptist tradition was born off directly from what they call Pocomania. Pocomania was born out of Kumina. Kumina was born out of ancient Ashanti tradition. Now the Pocomania was what the Kumina practitioners called they were in the hills, the so-called Maroon, practicing Kumina. And the ones who were in the valley, who were closer to the master, who had taken on more of the Christian religion, was called Little Kumina, Small Kumina, as a kind of a mockery. They're not even real Kumina. Little Kumina. Poco in Spanish means little. Yeah, Pocomania. Poco and Kumina became Pocomania. Little bit of Kumina, not the real thing. Yeah? And it's out of that that the spiritual Baptist tradition was born. As you have the Shango Baptist in Trinidad. But this was using Christianity as a veil to mask African spiritual tradition. So during the daytime, people like Nat Turner was as Christian as can be, but at nighttime, they were in the bush, or in the cave, pouring libation for the great ancestors, evoking and maintaining and preserving our ancestral tradition. Understand this, brothers and sisters? So let me move on because of time. There's one of you said on that. But let me move very quickly. Let's just very quickly look at how the ideas of Papa Garvey evolved. We know how he became a Christian. Let us look at how he was raised a Christian. Let us look at how these ideas evolved. How it evolved from Christian practice to or through what we call black theology, black Christian theology. Papa Garvey came to a point where he realized that the white Eurocentric approach to Christianity was not acceptable to our people, was to perpetuate the mental oppression of our people. And so he realized, but he realized also that our people were grounded in Christianity, and that Christianity had to be used to connect, as I said earlier on, with the spiritual sensibilities of our people. Is everybody with me? Yeah. Papa Garvey began to bring a African-centered, or moving towards an African-centered approach to Christianity. He brought in what we call a black theological approach to the practice of Christianity in the UNIA. Black deities, replaced white deities.
Right, that's right.
Black angels replaced white angels. The white Mary and Jesus became the black Madonna and Child.
Mm-hmm.
The African Orthodox Church was established.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was also a resistance to Bishop Maguire initially wanting to preside over the religious aspect of the movement as an Anglican bishop. So he wanted to bring Anglicanism into the UNIA, and Papa Garvey was resistant to that. And what was established was the African Orthodox Church. Originally, the aims and objectives of the organization were supposed to have been to develop Christian worship. That was changed to spiritual worship. And that was done for a reason. Islam also became a feature within the UNIA. Papa Garvey, those of us who studied Papa Garvey's history will know that he had a close relationship with Deuce Muhammad Ali right here in London. Deuce Muhammad Ali was from Egypt. He was a Muslim, and he also was the proprietor of a magazine called the African Times and Orient Review that Papa Garvey used to write for. That magazine was also very favorable to Islam, for obvious reasons. There's an elder by the name of Edward Wilmot Blyden, who also made favorable pronouncements in relation to Islam, even though he was a Christian. What had developed in the UNIA was an antagonism and a resentment towards Christianity over a period of time. People began to question the Christian religion because of how they were treated by the very people who imposed Christianity upon them. Where were these ideas directed? African spiritual orthodoxy. We beg to suggest that the Papa Garvey was guiding us towards African spiritual orthodoxy.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I just want to share a few of Papa Garvey's words very quickly, brothers and sisters, and then wrap up because of time. Actually, I'm going to have about 5 minutes. I'll just pick that up if you can. 10:91. Now, Papa Garvey, in his utterance, said, the Negro, and I'm using the word Negro deliberately, not only because Papa Garvey used it, but I want to emphasize that Papa Garvey was evolving. So he used the word Negro, not because he thought we were Negroes, but that was the currency at the time. That was the terminology that was used, that our people responded to. Many people wouldn't even respond to black. If Papa Garvey came with a different religion, our people would reject it. Are you with me, brothers and sisters? Yeah? He says the Negro is now accepting the religion of the real Christ, not the property-robbing, gold-stealing, diamond-exploiting Christ, but the Christ of love, justice, and mercy. The Negro wants no more of the white man's religion as it applies to his race, for it is a lie and a farce. It is propaganda pure and simple to make fools of our race and rob the precious world, the gift of God, to man. And to make it the exclusive home of pleasure, prosperity, and happiness for those who have enough intelligence to realize that God made them masters of their fate and architects of their own destiny. In another speech, the white man's propaganda, we call it, in Race First, page 89. The white man has succeeded in subduing the world by forcing everybody to think his way. From his God to his fireside, he has given the world from his Bible, to his yellow newspaper sheet, a literature that establishes his right and sovereignty to the disadvantage of the rest of the human race. That's right. The white man's propaganda. White man's what? Propaganda. He's equating the white man's religion, his Bible, with propaganda. The white man's propaganda has made him the master of the world, and all those who have come in contact with and accepted it have become his slaves. With what? The Universal Negro Improvement Association is now calling upon 400 million members of our race to discard the psychology and propaganda of all other peoples and advance our own